Hello everybody, this is Sébastien from Cupcake l'addition and I am here again on Cakeflix for the third episode of Cupcake, le web show. I know, this is August 31st. The holidays are almost finished. But there's no need to feel sad because I prepared for you yet another crazy cupcake project to be back to school in the best mood. Today's tutorial is so easy you'll be able to make it with the littlest ones. But I know you're here to learn, so I will also teach you how to achieve super realistic apple textures. Because what screams more back to school than apples? Easy, apple teachers. Meet Miss Red Delicious, Mr. Granny Smith, Miss Honeycrisp, and Mr. Golden Delicious, the crazy teacher from the Orchard Academy. Are you ready for this? Let's get started! For this cupcake project, I will need approximately 120 grams of white fondant, from which I will prepare 20 grams of pastel red, orange, yellow, and green. Now I chose to make these colors quite dull because I'm going to dust them, but if you don't feel comfortable using powder dust, just prepare brighter colors. I will also prepare 10 grams of brown, 10 grams of dark green, a little beige, caramel, baby blue, and navy blue. To obtain those colors I used red, yellow, baby blue, chestnut, caramel, ivory, gel food color. I will also need around 15 grams of white gum paste, I insist gum paste, red and black. And I will also need a little white icing color. The other edibles I will need are of course 4 cupcakes with cute liner, powder colors. I used ruby red, milk chocolate, Caribbean blue, lemon tart, apple and dark green. Silver and gold edible metallic paint, cornstarch, edible glue, alcohol, a black food pen, and sugar pearls. And now the tools I'm using in this video are a non-stick workboard, parchment paper, a rubber shaper, a small rolling pin, a smoother, a wide selection of piping tips or round cutters if you had them, a 6.5 cm round cutter, a mini square and a mini rectangle cutters, a pearl silicone mold, bowl tools, scissors, an X-Acto knife, Fimo blades, I'm using one normal and one flexible, a Dresden tool, a water pen or a food safe brush and water, a pencil, and of course today will be all about dusting and painting, so I will use paper towel, a paint palette, a flat brush, a selection of large and small blush brushes, more brushes including fine brushes, and even 2 toothbrushes. And last but not least, some optional items you might find useful. My secret weapon, a wax picking pen you can easily find online. Plastic wrap. And a life-changing steamer. As always in my videos, the first thing we want to make are the eyes because I want to allow them to dry overnight, 24 hours at least, so that they can harden enough to be manipulated, moved around, pushed inside the modelings without losing their shapes. As always, I am going to use one of these pearl silicone mold. You asked me, so these are really easy to find online. If you are in Sri Lanka, you can get them from my sponsor, Bake It Yourself in Colombo. Now, I showed you the process in all my previous videos, so today I'm going to go through it very quickly because we have a lot to do. I'm going to dust with a little cornstarch the cavities of my mold. I want my characters to have exaggerated features with a very big and a very small eye, so I'm going to dust the second and the 5th biggest cavities. Don't forget to brush off the excess of cornstarch. I'll need very well some white gum paste, roll 2 very smooth balls and place them into the cavities. I'll press the paste down with a bowl tool to make sure I have a perfect mold, and finally cut off the excess with my Fimo blade. A last push with the bowl tool and we're good to unmold our eyeballs. I want to make 4 pairs of eyeballs. I'll then use smaller bowl tools to create cavities right where I want my pupils. I'll fill them in with small balls of black gum paste. Last but not least, I'll add a white spot in the corner of each pupil with a mini bowl tool or a fine brush dipped into white gel color. This will bring them to life. allow your eyes to dry overnight or 24 hours at least, and you're good to go. And now it's time for us to cover our cupcakes. I baked them with a nice dome on them. I know a lot of you like them better flat, but this dome will actually help us to give a nice rounded shape to our apples. I also chose liners matching with the fondant I am going to use to cover them. It's not compulsory, but I do think your finished products will look much better this way. So let's get to it. So I'm going to begin with the red cupcake. I am going to knead very well my paste. This is a red or a pink, a little dull. And I am going to make a very nice ball with absolutely no cracks. Okay. Going to take my rolling pin, and with a thicker ring I am going to roll my paste down like so. I want quite thick layer of paste like so. Now I'm going to use a cutter. This cutter is 6.5 centimeters. Okay. I'm going to make a nice cut, a nice and clean cut, and I am going to place this on my cupcake. Going to press it down, okay, gently. I can use a smoother if I want the surface to be very smooth. I'm going to work a little the shape to give it a kind of apple shape. There it is. Now I'm going to take a ball tool, and around here I'm going to make a hole where my stem will go, but I'm not going to make it vertically. I am going to push this way inside like so. And now I'm going to take my Dresden tool and draw some lines this way. Okay, they don't have to be precise. I can push this back down. I'm going to take the big ball tool, and I'm going to place already the eyes. I made for each one big eye and one small eye. So let's push it here. Push the small one here. Here I'm going inside to press here. Okay, and this is basically what we needed to do. And now we've created our red delicious apple. Let's repeat this exact same process for the other cupcakes. We will go for a pale green for the Granny Smith, a pale orange for the Honeycrisp, and a pale yellow for the Golden Delicious. Yummy! And now we have covered our cupcakes and given them a nice apple shape. Let's watch the commercial of my wonderful sponsor, Bake It Yourself, in Colombo, Sri Lanka.
Hi, this is Akira from Bake It Yourself, also known as DIY Lanka, your one-stop cake supply store and studio located in the heart of Colombo, Sri Lanka. We cater to bakers of all different levels. You can simply be a budding home baker or a world-renowned sugar artist. We've got you covered. We offer a range of high-quality ingredients and products from international distributors as well as local brands in Sri Lanka. DIY Studio is one of a kind. We offer a fully equipped studio with all amenities. We are the pioneers of hosting international artists. We have also hosted demos and workshops with local and international artists. We warmly welcome more artists to teach us the up and trending methods of sugarcraft. Drop into DIY Lanka to experience a truly magical world of a baker's heaven. Thank you.
And now it's time for the magic to happen. We are going to give our apples a very realistic look and a nice depth using dusts and a few other tricks. I am going to begin with a red cupcake to show you the process. I've prepared a little ruby red powder color on a paper towel and I am using a blush brush. Every time I'm dipping my brush in the powder, I want to clean it on the paper towel until there's almost no color left. And I want to begin with the top of the apple and all the edges. What I will want to do on this is to have dark edges, quite dark top and bottom, and the center lighter in color. And now I have my borders quite dusted. I'm going to clean very well my brush and go a little more in the center with a circle motion. Okay, don't go too fast. You have time for this. Here I'm missing a little color. Okay. And here where we will have our eyeballs, I'm going also to go in circle a little. Basically you will want shades everywhere. A face or an object will have shades, so insist on them. See, I haven't cleaned very well my brush and I've stained my modeling. It doesn't matter because here we will have our eyeball, but it could have been a problem. So I'm going to do exactly the same on the other one, on our Honeycrisp. And I am going to go with a brown and brush a little smaller. Okay, always clean very well your brush, and you go here from the center. Okay, from the center to the sides. A little here. Okay, you can shade a little also on the bottom here, because you usually have a little brown there. And there we are. And there we are. And there we are. We are just going to store this away, and I'm going to go for a little twist on this one. So the Honeycrisp apples have a quite unique texture. They look like they've been painted with brush strokes from bottom to center and from top to center. So we're going to try to recreate this texture. For this I'm going to use a little alcohol and a flat brush. I'm going to dip the brush in alcohol and I'm going to paint, or to wash, let's say, to wash my dust from top to bottom, this way. And the same here. I don't know if you can see, we have those kind of brush strokes appearing. So let's go on with the same. And I think we're there. Look at this beauty. Using the same method, we will dust the two other cupcakes. We will turn the green cupcake into a Granny Smith apple using apple green sugar flake powder color. I really like this brand because they have plenty of colors to choose from. And by the way, you can find the whole range at my sponsors Bake It Yourself in Colombo, Sri Lanka. The yellow cupcake will become a golden delicious. We will use lemon tart powder color. The difference is that we will go a lot heavier on the yellow and that we will not be shy either dusting it with brown. We will also give our apple subtle shades of ruby red here and there. So now our apples are dusted, we want to go a bit further in the realism. Apples have stains and we are going to want to make them. I'm going to take my paint palette. I'm going to take a brand new toothbrush I'm only using for cake design, of course. I'm going to take a little white icing color. I'm going to put here. I don't need much. I want to take a bit of alcohol. I'm going to place here because I want it a bit diluted. I'm going to mix very well. Now I think we are fine. I'm going to take a paper because before I do it on my cupcake, I wanted to make sure they are not too big or too... I think my stains are great. I'm going to begin with the Red Delicious. I'm not coming too close to it. I'm going to make stains. There we are. And I am not going to do it on the golden. I'm going to do it with another color. So I'm going to clean this mess and I'll be back. And I am back for the Golden Delicious. Again, I'm going to take my clean paint palette. I'm going to put a little brown here. Okay. I am going to put again a little alcohol. Going to stir like so. Okay, I think is enough. I'm going to take another toothbrush, again a toothbrush I am not using for anything else than cake design. I'm going to try and see if my stains are the kind I want, and they are. So I can take my Golden Delicious and stain it. It's a quite messy process, but it's worth it. I'm going to stain just a bit the other ones, not much. And there we are. We are all messy, but our cupcakes look realistic. And now, last but not least, I am going to steam my cupcakes. It's totally optional, but it will allow the powders and the colors to blend beautifully and give a nice shine to my apples. So for this, I am going to use a steamer. This is a steamer for clothes, and I am going to go very cautiously on my cupcakes. You can see that the colors are gradually popping. Okay. And that our cupcake gets shinier and shinier. Go from cupcake to cupcake. last row, and there we are. Our cupcakes are steamed. So now is the moment I find most exciting when I'm creating cupcakes, because this is when I am attaching the eyeballs I created and give life to my characters. I'm going to take a brush and a little glue. Okay, I'm going to glue, but I'm going to be very cautious that there's almost no glue on my eyeballs. Okay, make sure you don't have too much glue, and place your eyeballs. Make sure they look exactly the way you want. Push them in your modeling. My 4 cupcakes have eyes. And now our cupcake came to life. Let's watch a quick commercial.
Hi, my name's Paul Bradford, and on this module I'm going to take you through all the different stages to create a beautiful traditional royal iced cake. So coming up first, I'm going to show you how to marzipan a traditional fruit cake. Once we've got the cake lovely marzipaned and it's set overnight, it's then down to the royal icing and how to get this beautiful, smooth and sharp finish. Once the cake's set, it's then onto the piping bag and piping these beautiful little borders around the side of the cake, a little scroll around the side, and then of course then the message on top. So the last section of this module is how to do a traditional royal iced run out. So you can see around the cake we've got these beautiful love hearts. We're going to make this really nice big daisy, and of course this beautiful 3D butterfly. So come on, grab your piping bag, let's get started.
And now we are going to create accessories that will help us building the personality of our characters. For example, our spelling teacher will have a Blackboard, our sport teacher will have a stopwatch, our geography teacher will have a globe, and our math teacher will have a ruler. But you can be creative, it's really up to you. You can make an art teacher with a brush, you can make a physics teacher with a test tube. It's really up to you. Have fun, be creative. So first I'm going to make the little blackboard. I'm going to use brown gum paste, beige gum paste and black gum paste. Very little, I don't need much. I'm going to take a little brown, okay. I will knead it very well, and in the palm of my hand I will make a string. I'm going to do the same with the beige gum paste. I'm going to make a string more or less like this, and I will join the 2 strings and mix them together, but not too much because I want to keep a marble effect. And when you see you have achieved a cute marbled effect, just make a little ball, take your rolling pin fitted with the thicker ring, and we are going to roll it. Okay, and as you can see we have a nice texture. I'm going to take a square cutter. I'm going to make a first cut here. These scraps I'm going to keep them because I'm going to use them later. I want a rectangle, I don't want a a square, so I'm going to cut again, like so. I have a nice rectangle, and I'm going to take my Fimo blade and I'm going to cut this rectangle like this, okay, in diagonal. I'm going cautiously to separate all this, and I want to make the frame, and now I have a nice little wooden frame. And I'm going to take the black gum paste and I will roll a thin layer of black gum paste this time, so with the thinner rings, and I'm going to cut a rectangle here like this, and there it is, like this. I'm going to take a little piece of parchment paper to be able to move my stuff around easily. I'm going to apply very little water here on the sides, and I'm going to place my frame. So 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, and the last piece. There is our frame. I am going to take again some white icing color, and I'm going to take a very thin brush, going to dip it here, clean properly because I don't want almost paint on it. It has to look like chalk, and I'm going to draw a little A, B, and C. There it is, we have our first object. So now we are going to make the globe, so I am going to use a little blue gum paste, a little brown gum paste, and I'm going to use those scraps I had earlier from the Blackboard. So I'm just going to begin to use those scraps and knead them a little. I don't want them too well kneaded. I'm going to take my pearl mold, the same one I used for the eyeballs. Again, I am going to take a little cornstarch and I will dust the hole I'm going to use, which will be the 1, 2, 3, 4th biggest hole on my mold. I am going to take little bits, random bits of mixed paste. So for example, I'm going to take this and place it on one side, and I'm going to place it on the other side. I'm going to take a little blue gum paste, again knead very well our blue gum paste, roll it in a nice smooth ball, okay, like so, and very cautiously I'm going to push it in my mold. And I want to cut the excess of paste like this. There it is. And I'm going to unmold my cute little globe. And I'm going to take the brown gum paste, going to roll a thin layer. I'm going to take 2 piping tip or 2 cutters. This one is 806 808. I am going to cut a first circle with the 808 tip, and with the 806 tip I'm going to cut a circle right in the middle because I want a nice ring, and give it a cut, and I'm going just to apply a little bit of water around, and I'm going to place the circle around it. And I'm going to attach a small trapeze here. I'm going to paint it with a little metallic dark gold. Here is my globe. I'm going to store it away now. So now we'll want to make the stopwatch. For this I will need a little grey gum paste and very little white gum paste. I'm going to need both gum paste. I'm going to take my rolling pin fitted with a smaller rings, with a thinner rings, and I'm going to roll 2 thin layers of grey and white gum paste. There it is. And I'm going to use a series of piping tip. This one is a 803 and this one is a 805. With the 803 I am going to make a hole here, okay. With the same 803 I am going to make a hole in the white, and I'm going to push this white bit inside the hole I've just made here. And with a 805 piping tip, or a cutter if you have cutters, I'm going to cut right in the borders of my my first cut I have made. I want something very regular, and I'm going to push, and now I have a very nice ring. I'm going to place it here so that I can move it around without losing its shape. With black foot paint I'm going to make a little drawing, so a point in the middle, this, and I can make some points all around. You don't need to add a lot of details, but you want them to be very clean. And now I'm going to make the buttons. And for this I'm going to use this that I've already rolled. I'm going to make a trick. I'm going to place a plastic wrap on it. I'm going to use a number 4, I think is this one, 3 and number 5. So with the number 3 I am going to make a few little holes, and with this one I'm also making a bigger one. Okay, I made 2 big buttons and 3 small. I am going to cut the bigger one. I just want half of it. You will see quickly why. There it is. Here I'm going to take a little bit of water. I'm going to put a little water in 3 points. One here, and one here. I'm going to take my magic tool to place my little buttons. So first button here. Okay. A second button here. Third button right in the middle, and here I'm going to add a little more water above. This one I don't need, and I'm going to place this one this way so that it looks like a button. See all those little details? are the ones that make your modelings different. I'm going to use metallic dark silver, and I'm going to paint all around. Okay, and there it is. We have made a very cute stopwatch. There it is, and I'm going to store it away. For the glasses, we will use the exact same technique we used for the stopwatch, so I'll get through it quickly too. Roll 2 thin layers of grey and baby blue pastes. Cut 2 holes in the grey paste with an 801 piping tip. With the same piping tip, cut 2 circles in the blue paste and place them in the holes. Cut cautiously around with an 802 piping tip. Paint 2 thin lines in each lens with a fine brush and a little white icing color. And there you have your glasses. Easy, right? You can paint the frame with silver paint if you wish. The ruler process is no rocket science either, so I'll also get through it quickly. Cut a straight line out of the baby blue paste you just rolled for the glasses. Draw lines with a Blackboard pen. You can use the blade as a ruler if you want. Press the blade to create a double level effect. Cut a rectangle. Make a hole with the number 1 piping tip and you're good to do your homework. And before we get to the finishing touches, let's watch a quick commercial. I'm all excited because we are getting to the finishing touches. Now, except some specific step that I will show you at the end, the process will be the same for all 4 cupcakes. So we'll be showing you on Miss Red Delicious. For those who don't know her, she's a nice granny-like primary teacher. But forget your homework and she will track you down. So for the eyelids, I am going to need very well some red gum paste. Roll it into a nice ball. Use my rolling pin fitted with the thinner rings to roll a thin layer. I'm going to take cutters to make 2 circles inside. Like so. 1 circle, 2 circles, and I am going to make moons with the same cutter I've just used. 1 and 2. And I am going to place these eyelids on my eyes. I'm going to use a little water on them. You can help yourself with a rubber shaper. One and the second here. With the blade, I am going to come in the middle of the two eyelids. I can push my eyes a little together. I make sure the expression is the one I want, so I can push back a little my eyelid if I'm not satisfied. And there we have our eyelids. Okay, they are pretty clear compared to the rest of the body, so I'm going to take back the dust I used earlier. Okay, and again very gently cleaning my brush after I dipped it into the dust. I'm going to dust the eyelids to make them a little darker and match with the rest of the body. Make sure you don't dust the eyeballs. And there we are. Our eyeballs now match the body. Let's make the lashes. We're going to take black gum paste, knead it very well. Okay, I just need a very small amount of black gum paste. Okay, and I am going to roll them into my hand like so. I want to obtain a very thin sausage with both pointy ends. And this is one, and I think this one will be okay to be placed on the small eye. And I'm going to place it. I want to place first the end that is going right in the corner, like so. And when I've placed this end properly, I can make the other end go all the way thanks to my rubber shaper. And when I'm in the corner, I'm going to curve. And there it is. I'm going to repeat for the second eyelid, but with a little more paste because the eye is a little bigger. And there we have our eyelashes made. I'm going to make eyebrows exactly the same way, but with a little more paste, like this. I've got one. I'm going to curve it already a little. I'm going to make a second one, like so. So I'll say be very careful here because you don't have second chances. Just going to brush a little water and use this tool to take my lash and place it. Okay, rubber shaper. There we have our first eyebrow. Same way, I'm going to brush just very little water here, like so. And with my rubber shaper, I'm shaping it. There we are. I'm going to make a little mouth, and I'm going to make the mouth here, for example. I'm just going to make a small moon shape. I'm going to take a little water. Here. And we are going to curve it exactly the way we want. And there it is. We have a nice, easy little mouth. The process will be identical for the 3 other cupcakes. although we do want to pay the greatest attention to our character's facial expressions. The way we are going to place the eyelids will be decisive in determining our character's mood and personality. Mr. Granny Smith is fast approaching his retirement. Okay, he's not the most enthusiastic math teacher, but hey, he's been coping with your crazy kid for 40 years now. We will give him a drowsy look with very straight eyelids covering the top of the pupils. Miss Honeycrisp is a quirky and cheerful geography teacher. She only lost her temper once, like 15 years ago. But everybody still hopes it won't ever happen again. We will only give her lower eyelids and 2 sets of eyelashes. Mr. Golden Delicious is a middle-aged divorcee who thinks he is still pretty chill. He teaches sport and is convinced he can successfully hide his beer belly under his tracksuit. Well, he can't. We will achieve a snotty look with one half closed eye and the other wide open, and above all with the shape we will give to his eyebrows. So now I'm going to attach the glasses I made earlier, and I'm also going to want to attach 2 earrings. I'm going to take a little water, I'm going to brush it here on my eye. I'm going to take this tool so that I can lift properly my glasses. And now I'm going to choose exactly where I want my glasses. And there they are. For the earrings, I'm just going to push the paste a little with my ball tool. Just going to put a little bit of water inside. And with my magic tool, I'm going to take 2 sugar pearls and push them inside. And there we are. So now we are going to make the arms, the hands, the stem, and we are going to place the little objects we made at the beginning of the video. So for this I am going to take a little brown paste that I'm going to knead very well. Again, roll it in a very nice and smooth ball. Going to do the same with red gum paste. Again, the same I used to cover my cupcake. And I'm going to take my rolling pin fitted with a smaller ring, and I'm just going to roll this. This is an optional step to be sure that all my arms and my hands are exactly the same size. So I'm going to take a cutter, or this one is piping tip 11 millimeters. I'm going to make 1, 2, 3 circles, and in the red I'm going to make 1 and 2. I'm going to shape my hands. So I'm going to make a little ball, a little teardrop shape, and I don't want anything more detailed for my hands. So this one will be holding the blackboard, like so. The second one will be showing the blackboard. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of water. I don't think it was even necessary because it was already pasted. And there we go. And I'm going to take my blackboard, put a tiny bit of water here, and I am going to place it on my modeling. The circles are going to be the arms, so I'm going to roll it into a quite long sausage, a little thicker here and a little thinner in the end. So I'm going to take the second one and make exactly the same. I want it exactly the same size. We're going to check what size it is. It's 3 centimeters. I want to put just a little bit of water where the hand is going to begin. Let's say here on this side and here on this side. So I'm going to fold my arm. Okay, like so. And place it. Going to hide the end of the arm behind the hand. And there we have a very easy and naive way to make the hands. And with this last piece of brown gum paste, I'm going to make a big teardrop shape like this. I'm going to cut here, maybe a little diagonally, like so. With the Dresden tool, I am just going to texture a little and put a little water just here in the hole we made right at the beginning. And I am going to place my stem here. So with the red dust, again, always clean very well your brush, and I'm just going to brush a little on the hands. So I'm just going to darken them a little. There we go. And with the brown, I'm just going to dust a little the arms, not much, and the stem. And there we are. So this last step is optional, but don't you think Miss Red Delicious could use some leaves? So I'm going to take a little green paste. I'm going to roll a very nice ball, very smooth, turn it into a teardrop shape, like so. And once I have the teardrop shape, I'm going to flatten it as much as I can in the palm of my hand. There. I'm going to take my Dresden tool, and from the center to the point, I'm going to press and indent. Okay. Like so. Now I'm going to press here to make the pointy end. And I'm going to take a little dust, a dark green this time, and I'm just going to dust a little the leaf, and it's just to give it a little depth. Okay, and there we just are going to see what shape we would like to give to our leaf and place it on Miss Red Delicious. So you can make bigger or smaller leaves, play with their shapes and position. They will contribute to build your character's personality. Think of them as a haircut. As promised, I show you real quick because we're really late a few extra steps. For Mr. Granny Smith's mustache, roll a ball of caramel paste, flatten it. With a round cutter or with a flexible Fimo blade, make a rounded cut. Create a hair texture with a Dresden tool and attach to your modeling. Make eyebrows with the same color. For Mr. Golden Delicious's big fat smile, cut a template in parchment paper. Place it on your cupcake and cut around with a sharp blade. Remove the paste. Roll a layer of white paste and, using the template, cut the teeth. For this step, the flexible Fimo blade is perfect. Place the teeth in the mouth. They need to go under the yellow layer. Push back the paste all around. Indent the teeth and give them depth with a little blue dust. For the ribbon of his stopwatch, roll thin layers of red, white and navy blue paste. Cut a red and a navy blue stripe. Place both on the white paste, very straight, and use cautiously the rolling pin to inlay them in the paste. Cut the ribbon with your Fimo blade and attach it to your character. And so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed creating the Crazy Teachers from the Outside Academy as much as I did. Don't forget to share with me your apples, especially if you create new characters. I'll be so delighted to discover them, and I promise I will be sharing them on my social media. Now before I leave, I wanted to thank again my sponsor Bake It Yourself in Colombo, Sri Lanka for the love and the support. Don't miss next episode here on Cake Flix for yet another crazy cupcake project. Bye bye everybody! If you're still hungry for cupcakes, head to my blog Cupcake l'addition with 2ds.fr. It's in French, but you'll be just fine. It has a translate feature. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Bye bye!